The Bay Area's rock station, 107.7 The Bone.
So who are some of the bands in the genre that you kind of refer to in general? Who are some specific bands that you think aren't really getting much attention that are is well deserved for good music?
A few of my favorite bands that are, really killer death metal bands, like the kind of death metal that I started listening to, the really darker, evil, aggressive sounding stuff. Like there's a band called Blasphemic Cruelty out of Florida that's really good. Nox from Holland, it's spelled N-O-X. Who else? Hour of Penance from Italy is really good. Lecherous Nocturne, I think they're from either South or North Carolina. I can't remember which Carolina, but there's a lot of really good bands out there in the underground death metal scene. They don't always get the attention they deserve, but hopefully after we do a tour like this, we could take a couple of those bands on tour, and then any new fans that we gained here, they'll get to see those bands too, and it kind of trickles down to them,
Doesn't it seem like kids today, I can't believe I'm at a point where I would use the phrase kids today, but
yeah.
Doesn't it kind of seem like kids today are really gravitating towards ultra heavy music, whereas before they didn't?
Yeah, it's amazing to see how well some of these really, really brutal bands are doing. Like I believe Suicide Silence, a really heavy band, and they just put out a record and it did 14,000 in America in its first week. So that's, to me, that shows me that this, blast beats, really heavy guitar playing, the ultra guttural vocals, a lot more people have developed an ear for it than we previously thought was possible.
And we're willing to pay for it and go down to the record store, which is such a big deal now.
Yeah, that's totally awesome that you could have music that brutal and people are still buying it in an age where they could, definitely get it for free if they set their mind to it.
So do you think that the Cannibal Corpse cover art being as graphic and amazing as it is kind of has helped you with record sales because it's kind of a collector's item, right? I mean, you don't want to get Cannibal Corpse and just get the music. You want that whole package where people are kind of trying to find a way to get kids back into the record store. You feel like you guys kind of already have it?
Yeah, I think that people like to collect, not just our stuff, but like metal fans in general like to collect the CDs. They're not just collecting the music and putting it on their MP3 player. They like, a lot of the fans that I know, they like to have something to hold in their hand and look at. I know I do. I like having the booklet to read the lyrics, and especially when it was albums, I'd just sit there with the album and read the lyrics while I listened to the music with the headphones on it. All those old albums I listened to back in the 80s, like all the Slayer albums and Dark Angel and all that stuff, I know those lyrics inside and out because I would sit there and read along with them. Nice big art. So there's something about holding on to that is lost when you just have the files on an MP3 player.
Hopefully metal can keep that tradition going.
Yeah, I think it will, and I think that's why you're seeing metal bands doing so great on the charts compared to like dance music bands, which, and that kind of stuff. Like you have dance music and other forms of music where the fans aren't quite as interested in collecting the CD booklets and things like that. And that's why you have metal bands getting in the top 200 so much more often than it. Man, it was not like this.
Which is a little freaky, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. We've been on their past two records. We've been in Billboard Top 200, and that's only the third time. We got on there in 1996 with Vile, and then the past two records have both easily gotten into the top 200. So that's yeah, it's crazy. We never thought.
It's cool, but it's kind of surreal, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's I never thought it would get like this. We always thought it would be like, a couple hundred people a night at the shows, and, every band would sell a few thousand records worldwide, and that would more or less be it. But it's gone way beyond that for certain bands, So.
Is that kind of the way you want to spend the rest of your life?
Man, I'd love to play my favorite kind of music the rest of my life, sure.
In looking around at the Mayhem Tour, who are some of the younger bands that, or even just in the genre in general, who are some of the younger bands that you see coming up that you think have a real potential to carry on that tradition?
Oh, on Mayhem, there's a bunch of killer bands. Whitechapel is killer. Job for a Cowboy, obviously. Black Dahlia, we've toured with a bunch, and they're great. All these bands are killer. It's a killer festival. Just all the bands are really good. The one I want to watch the most is Slayer, of course, because they've been a favorite band of mine for couple decades now, so that's who I'm going to be watching pretty consistently. But I want to watch all these bands at one time or another. I plan on watching every band on the tour because they're all good.
With Cannibal Corpse right now, you guys are kind of at the beginning ish, like the first quarter of the album cycle.
Yes.
Are you going to keep going another 18 months on this before another album, or is that even in the thought process yet?
We're working some stuff out for more tours down the road. Right now, all that we have that's officially, booked and the dates are released is a tour in Australia in September. That'll be awesome. And then European tour in October, which will be killer too. After that, we still aren't 100% sure what's going on. Just about there to be ready to release some dates, but we're not quite there yet. But yeah, we plan on touring on this until at least midway through next year.
And then hopefully late next year we'll see you back here with a couple of those support bands.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping is sometime, within a year or so we would be doing a headlining tour. And doing, San Francisco again, of course, and playing a longer set. Tonight it's kind of, all the bands you're seeing, it's kind of like a sampler, really. You're seeing like a half hour of each band, and, it's killer. You wouldn't really want much more in a festival setting. It would wear everybody out if every band was playing an hour. A whole 12 bands times 12 hours.
90-degree temperatures, kids moshing for 12 hours, yeah.
It'd be too much, so a half hour, 40 minutes is about right for all the bands, but when we come back, we'll do a nice long, hour 15, hour and a half, something like that. And
is there anything in the Bay Area that you look forward to seeing when you guys come back and do a headline set? Stuff that you like to do when you're out here? Because you've been out here a lot.
Yeah, we have. I actually came out here on vacation with my wife one time, too. We like the area so much. Like, we went to Muir Woods and all that, yeah. But when we're here, we're parked. We come on the bus and we're parked, so we can only do stuff that's within walking distance. So around Slim's, we usually walk to Guitar Center and look at gear. That's what we do while we're here.
I'm just trying to picture like hikers walking through Muir Woods and going, "Is that the guy from Cannibal Corpse?" No.
I had sunglasses on, some stupid hat, so I don't think too many people would recognize me in the first place. But.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Alex.
Hey, thank you very much for the interview.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
107.7 The Bone.
Streaming online at 1077thebone.com.